TGO, Tom Gruenwald Outdoors, is brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Tom Gruenwald Outdoors. I'm Tom Gruenwald, and today is the big day. We are up in Kalispell, Montana, and we're going to be fishing some high country cutthroat on a Cirque Lake. Now yesterday, I got together with my good friend, Mike Howell. We flew the helicopters up, we tried a high elevation lake that we knew there was some heavy snowpack up in that area. Got onto the lake and we could not drill all the way through the ice. It was too thick, too much slush. Wasn't something we were able to work with. We kind of expected that, so flew across the Kalispell Valley proper, went up to another Cirque Lake, not quite as high of an elevation, beautiful conditions. 2.5 feet of ice, very little snow, no slush. Got out, started drilling holes. Almost immediately, Mike and I were into fish. We caught a couple of cutthroat out there. Said, okay, we've got our lake. Today is the big day. We're taking our lucky contest winners, Nancy Southers and Jim Fenton, on this high country adventure to fish for cutthroat trout. Let's meet our guests. Nancy, Jim, congratulations. Are you excited?
We're excited. I can't wait.
This is an unbelievable experience. We went up yesterday. We did a little bit of scouting. One lake, heavy snow, a lot of slush. Really wasn't fishable. We couldn't even get the holes drilled all the way through. Second lake, totally different conditions. 2.5 feet of beautiful blue ice. Just a little bit of snow. It's dry, gorgeous surroundings. And best of all, in about an hour's fishing, we caught 3 fish. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's fly.
All right, Tom, here we are again.
We're here.
Gotta love it, man.
Let's get some holes drilled, Mike.
Woo, I'm ready.
And one of the things here when we're loading up, of course, there are weight restrictions, so we got to be a little bit careful about what we pack and load. But we've got our lunches, we've got sonar. We brought along an electric powered auger. We're going to use the 8-inch lighting because we're hoping with 4 of us fishing, maybe we're going to get into one of those bigger cutthroats.
We'll pin down those bigger fish. They're in here. There's no doubt they're in here. We just caught a couple that couldn't resist. We may have to hunt these a little harder today.
That's okay. I'm up for it.
That's okay.
Let's go. What do you think you want to set up with? Should we kind of work on that drop-off along the other side of the lake again like we did yesterday?
Yeah, I think where we left off yesterday, I drilled a few more holes along there. We'll hit a hole 5 minutes or so, and if we don't get anything, we'll move on. What I'm going to do, guys, is kind of start off with some lighter gear. I'll be probably changing lures on a regular basis, but I'll try some different colors and stuff like that. So we'll stick you with us. We'll get you, make sure you're comfortable with the fish finders. We're going to use dark colors today. Greens, dark greens, blacks, that sort of thing. These fish are not finicky, or at least they shouldn't be. So, you know, bigger profile baits is fine. Big baits, big fish, right? So so that's what we're going to do. We got an assortment of Polar Fire rod combos here. We're also using this Perch Assault rod today, which is a rod that the folks at HT have made to our specs out here. So this is a little heavier action, but a looser tip, a little bit more of a noodle tip for that initial hook set. Then you're right into the backbone to fight those fish. So I think we're going to just tie on 2 or 3 different jigs and get some lines in the water and start fishing.
You bet.
Cool. So Jim, I'm going to give you that one there. Tom, you're all set up with an outfit there. I like the looks of that. And then Nancy, I'm going to get you one that, this one here is a little heavier jig. So, you know, until you kind of understand the concept of you're not really feeling for the bite as much as you're feeling for the weight of the jig. And when that changes, you know, you feel that thump, 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 you lift it up, you feel that weight there, you drop it down, and all of a sudden you don't feel that weight, you know, then don't be afraid to set the hook. These trout a lot of times will pick it up on the drop, and so you won't really feel it till you get to the bottom of the drop, and it feels different than it should. You don't feel that bait stop. You just kind of feel nothing, set the hook.
Worst thing that can happen is you're just going to lift the rod tip fast, and a lot of times that actually can be something that'll draw fish from a distance, or if a fish moves, they see it jump away quick, they'll turn, and as it comes back down, they'll hit it. It's like Mike says, you're feeling for the weight of the lure. Watch the line too.
Yep.
Yeah,
sometimes that line starts moving across the hole.
Line will do that, or it won't tighten the way it's supposed to. It'll just be there'll be a little slack in there, and that same thing. A fish grabbed it and came up with it.
So yeah, a little bit bigger jig we'll start you off with. This is a locally made jig. Pete's Tackle makes these. This is an MB2. We've got these in all different kind of colors today. But you can see where it just kind of loads that rod tip up just a little bit. So it just gives you a little more feel till you start really getting the handle on the bite. All right, Lefty, there you go.
All right, if you want to grab a chair or a bucket, we've also got some kneeling pads here. Help yourself. And there's a Vexilar here for you, Jim. I'll go with you, Nancy. You ready?
All right.
More fishing action online at tgofishing.com. Let's learn something. Time for a TGO tackle tip.
So what I want to show you here, Nancy, is a sonar unit. This is a Vexilar. What basically it does, we got this called the transducer. And you drop this down in the hole. It sends out an electronic pulse. It'll bounce off the bottom and come back up. There's also a receiver in here. That gets translated here onto this screen. And what I'm showing you here is a demo. This is actually the bottom. And this mark is our lure dropping down. So we can actually watch our lure coming as it drops into the hole. Now what we're going to look for is any fish. Other markings in here between the bottom and the top will be a fish. Now we're in 17 feet of water. The Vexilar is telling us that. Now we just switched over to an auto zoom. And here's our lure, and this is bottom. This is also bottom over here on this side with the lure dropping. And that's showing us a magnified view of the bottom. Now we're going to work here. Here's bottom, fish, lure. Here he comes up for it. Now he's right on top of it. It's going to hit the bait right there, and we're reeling it up. So in this zoom mode, you see the bottom here, and you also have the bottom on the opposite side, so you get a magnified view of the bottom 6 feet. Any questions on how that works?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we'll be right there helping you as we go along.
Okay.
So. All right?
Perfect.
All right, let's go get some fish here, see if we can catch something. Okay, there you go. Set the hook. You got him. Yep. Lift the rod tip up. Oh, you missed him. As soon as that line went tight, you saw the rod go?
Okay.
What I mean by set the hook is jerk the rod up like this, and that'll actually set the hook. Yep.
Okay.
Put her back down again. See if you get them to come back. And what happens when they come in like that, they don't always just bite it right away. They'll kind of be looking. If you tease them, just kind of slowly reel up and start taking it away from them. Then that just gets something. It triggers them. They think the bait's getting away, and that's when they rush up and they'll bite. There's another fish, Nancy. Work him up. He's looking at it. Reel up real slowly. See if you get him to come follow it up. There you go. Oh, we hit it. He hit it. Okay, back down again. Now we're up high. Did you feel him hit?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Fish coming in. There you go. Set the hook. There you go. You got him. Reel up. Keep the line tight. Nice and easy. Let me get this out of the way. That a girl. You got it. Nice and easy. Take your time. Let him go. All you want to do is try to keep your rod tip up and nice and easy. There you go. He's fighting hard. Let it tire out. Let him tire out. Did you see him come up?
I caught that, yeah.
Just keep the rod up. Let the fish tire itself against the rod. And just slowly reel. If it makes a hard run, drop the rod down a little bit. Tire itself out. You got a nice fish there, Nancy. You got a nice fish. Okay, now again, pick up a little bit of line. When they get near the hole is when they start really going crazy here, so watch out. There you go, you just caught your first cutthroat. Nice job. Oh, don't let it go back down. Nice job guiding there. Let the fish go back down the hole. This one here looks very, very, very much like a rainbow. Okay, you got the purple and pink colors of a rainbow, but if you look underneath the gills there, it almost looks like he's bleeding. He's not. That gives you the name cutthroat trout. See, you caught the fish, and look at me. I'm the one shaking with excitement here. Nancy's first Montana cutthroat trout, right there. Nice job.
Thank you.
All these fish I've caught, I still get excited and shake. I believe in catch and release. Let them grow. Oh, there you go. He just came in on it hard. Okay, take it easy, nice and easy with him, okay? These trout fight hard. He's not going anywhere. Atta boy, Jim. Nice and easy. Take it easy with him. Don't horse him. Don't rush him, especially when you get near the hole. They're going to start going a lot of circles and stuff. Let him tire himself out. You got him hooked. That's it. Nice and easy. Let him go. Just keep tension on the line. Keep your rod tip up. There you go. If he tries to go hard, you can always lower your rod a little bit. Nice job. Nice job. Just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. It's a nice. There you go. Let's get the head up here to the hole. You did it.
Yes.
How'd that feel?
Felt great.
There you go.
It's beautiful fish.
Aren't they pretty? You won't
A little
find
bit of
anything
purple
nicer.
in there on that gill.
Yeah, this right here, that purple pink gill plate.
Yep.
All right, well, let's let this one go, Jim.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's
you.
your first cutthroat. I love it. I love it. Now you got the feel for it. You know, and it's funny, we went out here now and we had a long series of holes. We stopped, we had a sandwich, we were fishing over here in about 6, 7, 8 feet of water, caught a couple with Nancy, and it just said, you know, let's just go and work one of those sets of holes that starts deep. We're out in the main basin, it's probably 11, 12 feet of water, and a series of holes, and the first 3, 4, 5 of them, pretty much the same depth. It stayed 11, 12 feet. There really weren't any fish. All of a sudden we got up about that 10-foot mark where you had seen some before, saw fish, got into 8 feet, one just came in and hit it. So it seems like these more actively feeding fish are more concentrated up in between 7 and 8 feet of water. So I think, Jim, what I'd say, we got a number of holes here. Fish some of these. If it's more than 8 to 10 feet, I wouldn't spend very much time in them.
Okay.
Just stick in these waters, and then, of course you can always come back to that little rock slide over there where we started out.
Okay.
You know, beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Let's get some more.
There's more fishing action to come right here on TGO.
What's going on?
Well, figured I'd come over here and watch Jim a little bit, see how he's doing. You know, I got to ask, you know, Mike, you were talking about a couple of different strains of cutthroat up here and how they've been actually cleaning some of the fish out, trying to reestablish populations. Obviously, you could fly in here with a helicopter in some of these waters, but a lot of them are in posted wilderness areas where motorized vehicles wouldn't be allowed. How do they, if you don't mind me asking, how do they get the fish in here?
Yeah. Well, in the high mountain lakes, more than the one we're on here, in the 40s and 50s, the Forest Service would actually bring barrels of fish up those trails to those lakes. A lot of those lakes, there's 30, 40 lakes up in that high country up there. So that's how they did it, because they didn't really have any other way to do it. No airstrips or anything like that. So they planted rainbow trout and just about anything that they thought folks would like to go catch. So what they started about 10 years ago was a plan to rehabilitate all of those lakes, get pure strain West Slope cutthroat trout in those lakes, but that's all non-motorized. It's all designated just a hiking area. So you can't run ATVs up there, you can't fly in there on a helicopter for most of those lakes. So again, they contract with horse packers. Good friend of mine, Andy Breland in Kalispell, does a lot of work for the Forest Service for the last 3-4 years. Talk about a tough job in the summer. They go up and they're actually poisoning some of those lakes, and then the next year bringing the fish in. And some of the other lakes, they're doing what they're calling genetic swamping, where they bring in hundreds of thousands of small, pure strain West Slope cutthroat trout and just hope that those will push those other fish out. So that's what they're doing to rehabilitate those lakes up in there right now. It was about a 10-year process, began about 6 years ago. So they're closing in. A couple more lakes to go. Some of the most scenic lakes that you can hike to within, say, a 3-hour hike. Get up in there, spend the day fishing, maybe spend the night. So yeah, they're doing quite a project to get those lakes all back with the original fish that were in there before they started planting them in the 50s.
All right, which hole's the lucky one here, Nancy?
I think we'll try this one.
Try this one? Okay.
Yep.
Just gonna kick away some of these ice chips. Line doesn't get tangled on there. All right. Now you can see looks like there's some marks here off of the bottom. So when you drop down, go down kind of slow and stop up off of the bottom. I'm gonna help you out here. That lure is right up against your tip top.
Yep.
So I'm gonna open up the anti-reverse here so you can that drop down again. There you go. Be ready, because a lot of times when you hit a fresh hole, within the first 30 seconds or minute is when you catch your fish. So you're doing this really well there, where you're coming down now just a little bit at a time and more slowly. There he is. Set the hook. You got him. You got him. Keep the line tight. There you go. Nice and easy. Don't let it fight the fish. Let the rod fight the fish. Keep the line as tight as you can. You start to see the bubbles. Fish is coming up now. And there you go. So there's the crimson. You got the adipose fin here, unique to the trouts. All the spots on the tail and the backside indicates it's a trout. That beautiful crimson red underneath the gill cover, that tells you it's a cutthroat. I'm not going to shake hands. Quick high five. I don't want to get your gloves all wet. How was that?
It was awesome.
2. Now you're an ice fishing expert.
Maybe.
There's more fishing action to come right here on TGO.
I went with a little bit lighter system here. Just try something different. I've got a Marmuska Diamond and hooked that up with a waxy and an ultralight system here. My little ultralight puller fire and 2-pound test line. So I went kind of light here. Loosen up that drag, because these fish are actually a little bigger than what I expected they were going to be. I got a nice fish on here, Mike.
Nice.
A real nice fish. Got him. Oh, look at that. Oh, these cutthroat are just unbelievable.
They're shy, though. They're shy.
Well, I sat over here. I've been fishing with Nancy maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. And yeah, I noticed too, they're not just coming in and hitting it at the same depth.
Yeah.
They're kind of coming in and I'm trying to help her work it a little bit. She's getting the hang of the sonar. It's working. Same with this. Now I let her use my FLX 28, so I just came over here visualizing what I've been seeing on her screen. Went to the bottom, gave it a couple bounces, and worked it up a couple of feet off the bottom.
Yep.
And now that is a nice cutthroat.
Absolutely. That fish has got to be approaching, man, and I've got a tape. I should go grab it, but this fish has got to be 16, 17 inches.
You're gonna stick with that?
We pinch the tail down.
Okay.
Go right to the nose of the fish.
Mike.
16.
You couldn't be more spot on.
There you go, Tom.
All right.
Beautiful, beautiful fish. Nice
16,
Montana cutthroat.
16 inches of beautiful cutthroat trout. Wow. That right there is what this trip is all about. Well, we wanted adventure and we got it.
Absolutely. You know, Tom, we knew coming into this thing that trying to do something like this in the middle of winter in February, we could be open to anything. 2 fantastic days of weather, good flying conditions, good fishing conditions. We got our guests on some nice fish. I don't think anybody can argue this is a trip of a lifetime.
No question.
And I really want to extend my thanks to Vern and Jordan and Jim and Nancy for coming out and being a part of this. And of course you, Tom. We've got more adventures to come, but I think this one's going to stand out for me for a long, long time.
And I just want to say thank you here to our whole group.
Nancy, Jim, thanks for coming along on the adventure. It was a trip of a lifetime. I'll never forget this. Or you guys, Mike, for all your work. This stuff doesn't just happen. It doesn't just come together. You need to do a lot of work in advance. And there, I've got to make sure I thank Jordan and Vern here for making this whole thing possible, flying the helicopters up here. I mean, I was telling Vern, absolutely trip of a lifetime. I've had a dream about fishing a mountain lake like this. I never thought it would come to fruition, and here we are standing on this lake today. I also want to thank the good people over at the Kalispell Convention and Visitors Bureau for helping us out and putting all the details of this trip together. And also Jim Pierce, friend of Vern and Jordan, who did a lot of behind-the-scenes work to make this possible. Most importantly, I want to thank all of you viewers for joining us here on this adventure of TGO. And remember, no matter where we go or what we're fishing for, here on TGO, it's all ice fishing all the time.
TGO has been brought to you by HT, premium ice tackle since 1974. Polar Fire Gear, this is how it's done. Tourism Saskatchewan, Canada's best freshwater fishing. Vexilar, ice fishing begins when you turn your Vexilar on. Kalispell, Montana, discovery in every direction. And these other fine sponsors. TGO, where it's all ice fishing all the time.